Liner. So I have an in-ground vinyl liner pool. Here is a photo of the house and the pool. With an air or water bubble in the same spot as we had one last year. Last year it simply went away. This year it's not. Not sure if it's air or water behind the liner. How do I deal with this? The bubble is located to the right of the people who look like they are sitting kind of in front of the house. And I showed a picture of the whole pool, which does have a retaining wall behind it, and it looks like a bit in front of it.
Okay. So that is not air. That is absolutely water. What I would ask you is, has it been particularly wet lately? I'm assuming looking at those pictures, it appears that the picture of the whole pool has the shadow of the house behind you. So there's retaining between the house and the pool and all the way around one side of the pool, and maybe on the back side, I couldn't tell. And then when you the picture back toward the house of the people swimming, I'm assuming I see patio where you're saying the bubble is to the right. There's patio, and I'm assuming that's the drop off where the retaining wall is. If that's the case, chances are what's happening, you have one of two things. A leak in the pool, which would be an indicator if there's water leaking behind the liner and the pool is backfilled with clay so that that water just can't run out and go down the hill. It's building up in clay between the pool. As you remember, the pool was built, if you had it in fact built yourself, there's a footing that goes around the back of the wall, and then that whole 2 or 3 foot area is backfilled with sand, with clay, with stone, with whatever the builder decides to do. And oftentimes, if there's no way for that water to get out of there, it will build up behind there and push the liner in. So if we've had a particularly rainy spring, which depending on where you are in the country or in the world, that would indicate why it showed up last year and then disappeared. It may have dried up because as the groundwater recedes, the liner pushes and squeezes that water out and it disappears. So first thing would be to, number one, determine if you have a leak in the pool, because if you have a leak in a line or something behind that wall, water could be pushing in and floating that liner. It's called a floating liner, by the way. The second thing would be drainage. If you've been having a lot of rain and water is running off of the pool patio, where does it go? There's a wall there, but in between that, is there a space for that water to collect? And if there's no easy way for that water to go out, it may very well work its way back down under the patio and into that void behind the wall of the pool and start building up in there. And when it does, that's where you get a floated liner. So I would look at drainage around, making sure that there's nothing, that there's somewhere for any shed water to go. And then secondly, I would check and see if you have any issues with plumbing or water loss. And how you could remedy that, well, let's get to that. How I would remedy it is I would take again, this is me having done this for many, many, many years, is I would take a separate pool pump that I have out in the shop, and I would pop that liner in, slide a vacuum hose down behind the wall with a pole to hold it in place, and I would use that pump and I would pump that water out. And as I'm pumping that water out, that liner starts getting tighter and tighter and tighter against the wall. And then you pull out the vacuum and be able to put the liner back in place. Again, a little more advanced stuff, but that's how you fix that problem on a short-term basis. Long-term basis is, where's this water coming from? Is there water shedding from a higher spot anywhere in the day that's running in that direction and then building up behind it? And or is there a leak in the pool?